Hey everybody, hello, it's your friend James. Trust you're doing all right. Thanks for watching in Pivot Shift Ahead. We do these every Wednesday where we come in and bring you the most important thing you need right now. On the daily call that we do at 8 o'clock Eastern every morning, we're always hearing ideas and strategies about how agents win. And there's no doubt that in the last, 6 months, we've seen kind of this evolution of the market where it used to be somebody said, "Hey, I want to list my house," and you went out, put a sign in the yard, and sold it 30 seconds later. And it's not necessarily that way anymore. And for some of you, you don't know what to do. So here's what we've done. We pulled together 3 MREAs. These are ladies who are operating elite level businesses, and they've done it for a long time, and they're going to help us get back to the basics when it comes to our listing preparation and making sure we're ready to win. It's going to be a masterclass today with these 3, and I'm excited about it. I want them to introduce themselves, so let's do this. We'll start with Orly. Orly, tell us who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about your business.
Absolutely. So only Orly is my tagline, Orly Steinberg. I'm in northern New Jersey, about an hour away northwest of Manhattan. And I've been doing this for 36 years. That's a long time. I've had a team for about 30. And when you do it right, it could be effortless.
Oh, I love that. Jennie, tell us about you.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm Jennie Wolek here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been in the real estate business for 21 years and have been growing a team over the past handful, and I love it. It has offered me so much opportunity and so much fun actually growing people inside of this world where we all get to have fun and give back and help lots of families. So thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Jess Starr, hello.
Hello, good afternoon. So I'm Jess Starr from Connecticut. I've been in business 19 years. So I'm the baby here, I guess, which feels good for once. And run a team of 12 here in Connecticut. We cover Connecticut, Lower Mass, and parts of Rhode Island as well. And I just love inspiring my team members to think and dream bigger and create an influence and impact within their community. So that's really what we try to focus on, and obviously staying up with all the latest and greatest tips and tricks on what's going on in the market.
And that's what we're going to talk about. And by Jess, I'm 18 years, so I guess I'm the baby by 1 year in the business, which is fun.
You know what, James?
We've seen it all, though. I mean, seriously, all four of us have seen different markets. We've seen, Orly, I heard you describe the Great Recession as one of the toughest buyer markets you've ever experienced in your career. And then you rewind the last couple of years, and it's been one of the most just out of this world, weird, fast moving markets that I think any of us have ever seen. And then we get into where we are right now, which is really probably more of like a normal-ish kind of maybe sort of traditional market. But when you've been going as fast as we've been going, it feels really weird. And so today it's all about kind of listing strategy, because the strategy has changed. It used to be go run out and list it. When you talked about price, the script was sure, and that's just not kind of the way it is anymore. Orly, when you look at first, let's make sure we're going on qualified, like actual real live appointments. What would some advice be that you'd give on that?
Well, first, I always say don't be a Pop-Tart, meaning don't get a call or get an appointment and run out the door. You really want to know what your expectations are, what their expectations are. You want to go 3 deep, as I call it, in qualifying where they're coming from, where they're going. I have the tax records opening up. I have the history of their listing as they're talking to me pulled up. So I can kind of tell, already what range they're going to be in. And one of the questions I like to ask them is on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a knockdown, 10 being, you just redid your home completely brand new. Where do you feel you are? Because you want to get a sense of the condition of the house, because I do a 1-step. So the more questions I ask, I go in there and I can literally do a walkthrough, market presentation, pricing, and have them signed sometimes in 30 minutes if you do it right.
So if you ask enough questions on the front end, and by 1 step, there's some agents that go to the house twice, so we call it a 2-step listing presentation. You're 1 step. You do this pre-call, and then you go over there and meet just the one time and take the listing and roll out. Can you tell us why you think that's the best strategy?
Well, first of all, if they're calling other agents, the other agent now has to come back. So that gives me the opportunity to get in there, give them all the information, wow them with my experience, my presentation, my marketing, and the pricing, and sign them up right there because they feel comfortable, they feel confident, and I'm happy to call the other agent and tell them that it's already done. So it's confidence and it's knowing your market. I know my market like the back of my hand. Within $5,000 to $10,000, I can price something usually over the phone, asking the right questions.
It's all about questions. Jenny, I know you ask a ton of questions. Your team does when they're going out on listing appointments. What are some of those important pre-qualifying questions that we should be asking?
Well, James, I just was shocked over these past few years that people weren't going deep on all these conversations before they even got to the property, because I wasted so much time and away from my family and loved ones, and just showing up, as Orly says, as a pop star, because I was so excited for the opportunity to meet with somebody that I just hopped over there, found out later that they really weren't motivated. So it takes all the pain that we've learned through these years that we share with you now. Don't do what we did. And so, James, really, I just always have these criteria for myself. I just wrote them down so I wouldn't forget. Do they really want to sell? I mean, do they have some kind of motivation that means that they need to sell their house? Can they sell? In the old days, sometimes they were upside down. And today, where are they with their numbers? This means getting a little personal in some of the questions. And then lastly, are they nice? And are they going to be reasonable? I've been in this business long enough to know I don't want to work with jerks. No jerks allowed. And so that is really, what kind of questions we're asking in general terms. And of course, I have a lead sheet that makes sure that I hit on all these points. We have to spend so much time on that first phone conversation to determine if they're even a match for us, if we really want to work with them, because now more than ever that matters. And then lastly, I always want to know what happens if they don't sell. We haven't had to ask this question in a while, but this may come around again, because as we're looking at the numbers, we see more homes are expiring, more homes are having price reductions, they're coming off the market. So what's happening to those homes? We want to work with motivated people that really, truly want to sell. If we're going to invest our time and our money and our energy into partnering with them to help them through this process, we want to make sure that it's a win-win for all of us at the end of the day.
And you said no jerks allowed. Not everybody could see it who is watching, but I can see all of you all the time on my screen, and all of you nodded your head. No jerks allowed. And it's nice to be able to get to the spot where you get to pick and choose who you do business with, right? Based on, if this person's a jerk and you don't want to work with them, you don't have to. But if you're tied to the outcome of every closing, you might have to work with somebody like that. So it's a good reference point. Questions are key. Jess, what would you add to this about making sure this is a real live listing right now that you're going out to visit?
Well, one thing we have done for a long time is we created an intake form for any client that came, and we'll just verify the information. That's really important. Keeping the intake form, whether it's an ISA on the team doing it, it's another team member doing it, and always asking the final pre-qualifying question, which is my favorite one to ask, and that is, are there any other pieces of real estate I can help you with here or throughout the world? And be willing to be patient with their answer and give them time to think. We also ask that same question once we sign the listing at the listing appointment, just as our final, hey, last piece of business, we just want to ask you. We want to work with more great people like you. We make sure prior to going to that listing appointment, we are always sending out and giving them the, hey, here's what happens next after we've set this appointment and completed our intake form. We're going to send you a copy of our pre-marketing packet via email. Our assistant will send it out. You should receive that today. Please let us know if you don't by tomorrow. Also, would you prefer to get a copy of the disclosures via PDF or DocuSign prior to our appointment? It'll save us a ton of time. You can have them completed and we can help you answer any questions you might have. And then finally, we just want to make sure that we know all the features and benefits of your home. So if you could just go ahead and have a list of improvements ready for us, included with the name and year, in case it's an upgraded boiler and it's a Baderas boiler. We want to say that's like the Porsche boilers, and it helps us create that features and benefits list to give you even more value in your home. So people really appreciate that. We give them those 3 things to do ahead of time. So they've already looked at all our marketing before we get there. There's a 20-point pre-screening agent questionnaire that we have at the back of that marketing packet. So basically, if they are interviewing other people, we make sure to let them know they should use those 20 questions to ask the other people, and remind them that our packet already answers all of those questions for them on our production, on our days on market, on our list to sales price, and all those fun stats. So that's kind of what we do to try to set ourselves apart to start.
Can you tell that Jessica's in Connecticut talking about boilers? We don't have that here in Tampa Bay.
Furnace
So-
or boiler, same. Yeah.
We don't have furnaces either, but it's so fun. Listen, here's the thing that I'm hearing from all three of you, and Jess, I'll let you kind of answer this. This is a lot of pre-work on the front end, and a lot of people haven't done this much pre-work in a long time. You're asking a lot of questions. You're sending them stuff. I mean, you're doing all this. Jessica, why is it so important to make this investment on the front end?
Well, here's the thing. If they fill out those disclosures when I go to that listing appointment, guess what I'm likely getting? So I can cut down and get to the meat and potatoes of the conversation. So I want to make sure that I'm asking the questions that really matter to them, back to their motivation, what's the most important thing to them, and that kind of thing as well. Just to reiterate it, I also think it's very crucial. People have stopped, and we continue doing it straight through the pandemic, but a lot of them stopped staging. They stopped giving the advice on how to set your home up for success. And even if that's just some minor work to touch up to maximize the value of your home, those are the things that people need to get back to doing that they gave up because it was easy. They need to use professional photography, drone photography, even if necessary. And, people really love video. So we've never stopped doing our coming soon videos. And it's real simple. It's just with our phone doing a quick video and talking about the amazing features and benefits of this house and creating a buzz about the property before it even hits the market. So that's why we can prove our days on market. We pull up our YouTube channel, that's the Starr team, which is great. And then we make sure we show them some of our Instagram and TikToks and fun things like that so they can really see that we're working on a daily basis to market that home and really find the best buyer and maximize the amount that they're going to get. So that's really important to us.
I love it. Jennie, it seems like your communication system up front is really important. It's kind of setting the stage for the whole thing, but it's a system, isn't it? This whole pre-listing piece?
Well, I love systems, James. And yeah, same. I know that all three of us have operated at such a high professional level that we're going to all have a lot of the same things in our systems. For us, it is the pre-qualifying first conversation where, we go deep on everything about them and their family and who lives in the home and tell us about it. And then getting to their motivations and understanding where are they going? If they're moving out of state, do you have some help there? Can we help set you up with a great agent to the new city? Tell me a bit about your house. And it's just all about them, all about them, all about them, nothing about me, right? It's all about them, making them feel special and heard. And then I think the key to all of this is having a system in place that you're going to let them know, hey, check your email because we're going to be sending you some information. It's a video email. It's me saying, hey, it's Jennie. We look forward to meeting with you and talking about the future sale of your home. Before we get there, go ahead and click on the links below, start working on your homework. And I can't wait to talk with you about the details of the specific market and how we're going to help you price your home to sell and all the things we're going to do. So we're giving them instructions. And just like Jess says, when you get to the appointment, they've done any bit of the homework, they're at a yes. So my key tip here is stop talking. They're at a yes. Don't talk yourself out of the appointment. Now you're just going to build some rapport again about them. You see that they've done the homework. Do they have any specific questions? Otherwise, let's get to talking about pricing. And that's when you go into your strategy. And now the strategy has changed. We need to be including the active competition, not just 6 months ago comps. That is the past. And so this is why sharing the data with them face to face will be really important, because we have to let them see that, yeah, just a couple months ago was very different from today. And it's nothing to be scared of. It just means now that our listing price isn't necessarily the starting point for going up. It may be this marketing price to attract the best offer. And that could look a little differently now. So go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying, it seems like if you do all this work on the front end, it makes you have relationship. You've shown you're a professional. It makes the tough conversation you might have around pricing a little bit easier. And we did a call with Terry Story that everyone should go and watch, that talks about how she another MREA, how she is walking people through pricing. So that's a great one to go watch. But Jennie, you've got the relationship, you've built the rapport, you have the trust, you've proven you have great systems by doing all these things on the front end. Gosh, I would just imagine that it makes the pricing conversation easier. It's not super easy all the time. You still have to deal with some stuff, but it probably makes it easier. Would you agree?
Well, it makes it easier because you're coming from a place of just educating. And James, you maybe took that bold class a few times like I did. And I just always remember sharing that I am just the messenger. I'm here to interpret what the market is saying. And this is what we see the market is saying. And so let's look at the reality of the market. Now, your neighbor down the street, that's cool that they got that price at that time. And it may be a little different now. So it's being the market expert and really educating. And then, James, I think the key thing, though, is we've had this first phone conversation. And it's really important that the day before, you are going to have a qualifying call again. And this time, this is to really get their motivation and understanding, and even asking them important questions. And this is where you can say, have you been looking on the Zillow, and what are you thinking in pricing, and what's going to happen if you don't sell your home? And, things like, are you going to talk with some other agents before I get there? I'm just curious because I want to make sure and save time for you so that when we get there, we can maximize our time. I know that that's important to you. And so really, really double checking. You're going to show up as a professional. You get to decide. This is the market now. I'm so excited that we're here again. We get to have our skills show up, and we get to really remind them that we're the professional, and we're going to set the stage and the standard on how we're going to best help them. We don't have to take every listing. We do not need to be so desperate that we lower our standards just because we're coming and operating out of fear.
This is great. Orly, here's, and I know you're doing all this stuff too. This is what I'm hearing. Again, you're proving you're a professional. You're setting your standard up front. You're laying out great communication. I imagine when you follow great systems like this on the front end, it not only gets you this piece of business, it leads to future business down the line. This is how you stay in the business 30 plus years, is having great systems, right?
Absolutely, because, we pride ourselves on giving Ritz-Carlton service to our clients. So they're always hearing from us. They're always getting little gifts. They're always in touch. And they tell their friends, because they said, oh my God, my friend went through this and they didn't have half of it. In fact, I've had, people who have moved away to other states and said, could you send me that checklist again for moving that you sent me 10 years ago? Because my agent here doesn't have that. So it's preparing them for every step of the way and explaining to them that you should never have to call me and ask me what the next step is, because we are very proactive in letting you know what the next step is, so you can relax, and the stress level is on my shoulders and not yours. It's starting off with a life consultation. Who are these people? What are they looking to do in their lives? So they really feel that you're detached from the outcome as far as the commission, and you're there as their life consultant to guide them through this process, which is very stressful. We all know on the stress meter, death, divorce, buying and selling a house. And I warned them, I said, look, there's going to be bumps along the road, but my job is to educate you, offer you options, and then you'll choose what the best course of action will be. So I will always offer you options when we have challenges along the way.
Orly, I imagine that honestly, there have to be times that you're literally, after doing your work on the front end, are just going in and picking up keys and getting an agreement signed. I remember my friend Ashley Wilson, who's an agent in Raleigh, said her job was a key collector. That's what she was. She wasn't a listing agent. She was a key collector. She showed up and took people's keys to put in lock boxes. You have to have stories and examples of times, Orly, where you did so much work on the front end that, quite frankly, you beat out another agent. Even maybe they said some crazy higher price, you still won just because of your systems. Yes?
I'll tell you a story about that just happened recently. But before I go into that, I have to tell you, after 36 years of branding myself so strongly in the area where little kids think I'm their relative, it's 90% of my listings are just come list me calls. They're not, I'm not up against anyone else. So it becomes, as I said before, it becomes more effortless, where people just call you because you're the only name to call in town. But I recently had somebody who found me on Google because of my Google business page. And this was a family where mom was 90 years old, finally had to move out of her house, debilitated son living with her, and they were 6 siblings, all out of state. So I met them at the house. I did my front end consultation of knowing what I was getting into. I knew there was going to be work to be done. The house is dated. Nobody ever did anything to it. But in looking around, as I was talking to the 4 siblings that were there, I knew that their biggest pain point was we're not around. They're all in their 60s and 70s. How are we going to do this remotely? We don't have the time. We don't have the energy. And I quickly picked up on the issues that we would have to deal with. And I said, look, I get what you're trying to go through. I've been through this many times with many estates and similar situations. I have all the resources for you. There's an oil tank that needs to come out of the ground. I literally called my oil tank removal guy from the house, got them an appointment 2 days later. That was done. My contractor, let him fix these things for you. The only thing you guys have to do is get rid of this, this, and that. Don't worry about painting. Don't worry about the carpeting. We're going to put it as is. And I was up against actually another agent who was referred to them, who gave them a higher price by 30 to 40,000. And when I came back, and I did do a two-step here because I knew it was strategic in this particular situation, I said, look, you could go with that price, but you've got a lot of issues here. And when people come in, it's going to be as is. So let's get you the best buyer. There will be a bidding war probably, but they'll take it as is because frankly, you don't have the wherewithal to deal with all the issues. They trusted me. They gave me the listing. We listed it on a Friday. The next morning, Saturday, I got a 20,000 over asking offer. And by the following Wednesday, we had even more than that. And everything is done. They just can't believe, all the resources within a week. It was done, taken care of by all my people.
This is how you run a business. You first of all, you practice your craft. You get into relationship with the best people in your community and you add value and business comes to you. This is how you make it happen. This is absolutely wonderful.
You call those contractors, show up and call them right there. I mean, they pick up the phone and say, Orly, what do you need?
That shows that you've built a business and have a great reputation in the community. There's no doubt about it. I love this. Okay, 2 more questions and we got to kick it. And the one, Jess, I'll ask you this one. Is there a question you were hearing from potential sellers right now that maybe you haven't heard in a while, or they're asking you as this market's kind of changing, and what kind of issues are you facing there, Jess?
So a couple things. One, it's real important to share. If you guys have fast stats or anything that tracks the data for them, show them those things. They're a month behind, depending upon when they come out, but it's important to see average list to sales price, days on market, and the surrounding towns that might be also competing with them. If I am competing, I will have people say, oh, your commission is this. And I'll say, yes. And our average list to sales price averages anywhere in your town from 6% to 10% above the average list to sales price. And yes, those numbers will be changing, but that also was our standard way back when, before we had this crazy market too. So I've actually had to get a little creative sometimes with commission and with also just my promise to them. So we have our 5-star promise, like Mike Hicks and Tony Baroni. So we really talk about our referrals and reviews in there. But then with that, I also say to them, look, because of this average list of sales price, because of our shorter days on market, all of our marketing, where we constantly work for you, the moment you sign this listing paperwork, we'll start your coming soon video. They see that value. So I've had to, though, in those few circumstances when I get kicked back on commission, say, all right, let's do this. How about I'm 6% this first month that we start, right? And I will keep more money in your pocket than the average agent in our community. And then number 2, as long as we sell within 30 days, I'll keep that 6% commission. If it takes me longer than 30 days to get your home under contract, I will go to 5.5. And even longer than that, I'll go to straight 5, because I'm that confident in our systems and our tools to make you the most money possible. And we've already got all these contractors, just like Orly said, lined up to help you out. So why not let us get started right away? We'll go ahead and call that next agent that you're going to interview and let them know they can save their time and spend some time with their family.
That's good. That's good stuff. I like it. Jenny, are you hearing some stuff now from people? Are they asking you questions that you haven't been asked in a while?
Well, okay, so you guys are hearing this first because this is my brilliant idea today as we're talking as a team and hearing the feedback and things that are going on with our sellers that, in the past we're selling in a minute and now it's been 2 weeks on the market. And, of course, it's always been the case, but with longer days on the market, we're going to start hearing from our sellers if we're not setting them up properly from the beginning of the expectations. And I said, you know what, maybe we need to get some logoed earplugs. So as soon as they go on the market, they stop listening to all of their neighbor friends that sold last year or down the street or the inactive agent that they think that says that, their price should be this or that. And so I'm teasing and just saying that we now more than ever have to continue to have these conversations with the sellers more often than we were having with them, because our days on market is going to increase no matter what. It's still always about the price. I always say that 90% of marketing is price. And of course, we're going to help you with staging and photography and do our part. And now your part is to pick the right price that helps you sell faster and be the one that they pick.
I love the earplugs. It's the reminder that when we're hearing stuff over and over again, just address it up front. Their neighbors are telling them, hey, well, the Johnsons sold their house in 3 days and it's been 12 for you. What's wrong? And they don't have the context. So I love something like that. Just address it up front, have some fun with it. And when they call you back, go, remember those earplugs? Put them in. Yeah, I love this. Okay, last thing, and then we got to go. Ladies, thank you for spending so much time with this, because this has been so huge. You gave us great systems, great stuff. This is a go back and rewatch call. There are some people, though, that are going, look, even finding a listing right now is hard for me. It's a struggle to even just go find somebody. So I want you to give that last piece of advice to the person who, they would love to implement your system, but they don't have anybody to implement it with, quite frankly. Orly, what's that piece of advice you'd give that agent right now who's just wanting to find another listing?
I just told my team today by email, go and mine all those leads that you've had for the last 2 years that weren't ready, and go back even further. I mean, you've got people that called you years ago, weren't ready for whatever reason in their life. Go mine your database and find those people and tell them what's going on with the market. I mean, my line lately has been, we're no longer in the thrust of the super crazy. We have plateaued at the pinnacle of the market. So it's still good. It's optimistic, but letting them know it's not going to go any higher. And obviously they've heard about the shift. So go mine your gold mine in your database.
Good answer. Jennie?
Yeah, I was just thinking, as we're all sharing and we have these repeat referral clients year after year, and the come list me's, well, the come list me's come back to us because we have been professional and we've told them the truth. If you are not learning how to share and communicate the current market with the clients, you're not going to get the opportunity to work with them. And so I'd rather tell our clients the truth than work with people that are unrealistic. So the ones that are your tribe and your VIPs and your rock stars are going to stick around and be your repeat referral clients. So just go back to them and squeeze and love on those people, because that's where you're going to have the best return on investment of your time and energy, are the people already in your database.
Awesome, Jennie. Thank you. Jessica?
Well, I'm going to build off what Jennie said a little bit, because I think that's brilliant. Think about the people that are in your database that have life changes coming up. There's still, just like Orly said, people that have to buy, sell real estate. They're always out there. Somebody passes away, somebody's sick, somebody's getting married, divorced, you name it, right? And why don't you come from a point of coming from contribution and call some of those people? Think about the people that have kids that are in elementary school. Do they have a college savings plan yet? Now this might be an opportunity market for them to think about investing in homes and creating passive income. Are you their go-to person in teaching them how to build a legacy for their family? Are you calling the people that have high school seniors and saying, hey guys, I don't know if it's on the horizon or not, if it's their last baby or their first graduating high school, but going to them and just saying, if you're thinking about selling, obviously spring market for us here in Connecticut actually kicks off in February. And those months can be kind of crummy. So why don't we go ahead and take some pre-listing pictures of your exterior shots now, so they look better for when we do go on the market? Because I think you told me you were thinking about selling when Tommy graduates. And if we want to get you on at the right time of year before everybody else jumps on, let's make sure you look the best too. So can we go ahead and get those scheduled for you now, and we'll wait until you list them?
That's why the Starr team's already done $1 million in GCI this year, because they're asking those types of questions and looking out in the future for opportunity. And here's the thing for you. These 3 ladies are every day on our 8 o'clock Eastern mastermind call. I mean, and you've got 3 agents here who've got several years in the business, and they're making $1 million a year selling houses that we all can learn from. And I trust you got value out of the conversation that we had today. I did. Orly and Jennie and Jessica, thank you so much for pouring into our people. It's been a wild ride here this last couple of years, but I think we're getting back to something that is, what did you call it, Orly? The plateau and the pinnacle of the market or something. You got fancy with your words. It was great.
We have plateaued at the pinnacle of the market.
Yeah, exactly. So we're back to something that feels a little bit more traditional, but when we've been going 100 miles an hour and you slow down to 70, it feels like you're going about 30. But the truth is, there's opportunity out there if you go get it. Ladies, thanks for being with us today. For everyone who watched, thanks for watching. We'll see you around on Pivot Shift Ahead. Have a good one. Bye-bye.